his has appeared that seems to underline this. That's him, viewers, speaking in the middle a few days back. The BJP is circulating it, and the clip shows him referencing Nepal and Bangladesh thuggery. Sonam Wangchuk also has said, after yesterday's spiraling violence, that nobody had an inkling something like this would happen. Ladakh witnessed a Gen Z revolution. But listen to him a few days before yesterday, viewers. I'm going now back about 15 days, when Sonam Wangchuk was urging the youth of Ladakh to rise up like the youth did in Nepal and Bangladesh. Listen in.
Yang tene daksa mangpe mols thak chat pe gyurja yung chezino. Nepal la yung steodo, Bangladesh la yung steodo, Sri Lanka yung steodo, mimang se gyurja kyong anok tene. Chik chik shi na tene kyong anok samaragyale.
He says, show the same spirited energy that we have seen in these other three countries. The Congress led by Rahul Gandhi, who has admitted that he's counting on mass mobilization to propel him to power, seems to have triggered his own workers. A top Congress councillor in Ladakh threatened mayhem a day before the rioting. Smanla Dorje Norbu, Congress councillor, he has come out and said that I am going to be gheroing the BJP office, which is surrounding it basically. I'm going to enter the BJP office and throw stones at them. Listen to this, viewers. This is another clip of his where at a press conference he made these outrageous threats. Listen in.
तेरे आ रहे CRPF दरुंग स्टोंग क्यों ना क्यों लाख क्यों ना क्यों ची केस तना तंग BJP ऑफिस खोना आयों से कोंसा थम से फिर नजर ना दिरिंग स्पांग भूते दिदी कना सुई ची केस तोंग ची जो ना चोस ले ना आयों से दुआते नजर.
Viewers, 24 hours after this threat, the BJP office was reduced to cinders in Leh. Speeches and soundbites appear deliberately designed to mislead, comparing local dissent to faraway uprisings from the Arab Spring to imagined revolutions. No wonder the centre has put together a dossier against Wangchuk, the person spearheading this entire protest. Wangchuk, viewers, according to the centre, incited the mob, leading to violent protests. There's an FIR that has been filed which is naming him. That's what we're being told. I'm going to confirm that news in just a short while. Wangchuk misled the people by mentions of Arab Spring and Gen Z protests. This is what the centre is alluding to, viewers. The police fired in self-defense as stir turned violent. The government committed for dialogue and people's security. However, politically motivated people tried to sabotage the dialogue process. Who these were, viewers, can only be guessed now from the motivations and the speeches that have been made. The mob, guided by Wangchuk, the centre says, through his provocative statements, the situation in Ladakh has been brought under control now, but it is tense. And this is not just any unrest. It's in Ladakh, a sensitive border region hemmed in by China, where stability is more than a local concern. Every flare-up here carries national security implications. The rioting erupted despite the centre taking every step to accommodate the demands of the protesters. And viewers, there's a lengthy timeline which shows that the centre was committed to the long haul, which was to negotiate its settlement. Back in May, a high-powered committee breaks the recruitment impasse, hires a large number, comes out with a formula on May 28th. There's an engagement with the Union Home Minister, no less, viewers, Amit Shah. Early June, President notified 4 landmark decisions after talks. These talks were with the same groups who were suddenly protesting and then rioting. June 30th, in July 1st, outreach by Union Home Secretary, flexibility on land issues. In July, government advertised Ladakh-specific jobs with age relaxation according to the understanding that was reached. These facts that even Wangchuk has not denied force us to ask, viewers, who benefits when law and order and the security of a border region are sacrificed for power at any cost? Is anarchy now the opposition's go-to template? Is the Indian state Rahul's target? Will the ecosystem take India down with him or them by pursuing this scorched earth brand of politics that we have seen in our neighboring countries? These are some fundamental questions, and I want to put these out tonight. I want to first begin with the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shehzad Poonawalla. Mr. Poonawalla, when I spoke earlier with Mr. Wangchuk, he kept saying that he is being made a scapegoat, that he is actually being pilloried by the centre now because they want to play the man and not the issue anymore. So they're discrediting him. How do you react to this?
2007 Office of the Deputy Commissioner Leh, obviously not the BJP in power. You have been making anti-national connections in China and other places which have been exploited for anti-national activities. You have been misusing provisions of Foreign Contribution Act and misappropriating funds from foreign contributions. You have been illegally occupying 200 canals of land without paying dues to the government. You have been using demoralizing language and undignified language and remarks against government staff issued by the Congress government. Anyway, having said that, today this so-called victim is the one who's made provocative speeches at a time when there was almost a breakthrough that was going to be achieved with the LBA, and the LBA president has confirmed that on 6th of October, and in fact even today there were going to be talks held on majority of the issues. And at that time, when your land allotment has got cancelled because for the last 7 years you have been illegally squatting on that land, not doing what you had committed, and have usurped funds, and when there is an ongoing investigation of FCRA on you for the last 2.5 to 3 months, where the CBI has also been investigating, and today I am told the FCRA license has been cancelled. At that time, suddenly you wake up and you create this entire sponsored, not spontaneous, organized, not organic protest. It is not a coincidence, it is a calculated violent protest. And let me tell you the proof for it. He made provocative speeches about Arab Spring. He linked it to Nepal and the movement there. Thereafter, he has done a video where he's been teaching people how to cover up their mouth and their entire body with a hoodie. After that, you see yesterday the Congress party holds a press conference, which you were showing. In that press conference, the Congress party says that they will destroy the BJP office. The person who's made that speech is seen at the BJP office. Other Congress leaders are also there in order to destroy or in order to create the kind of violence out there. All of these things put together show that this is Sonam and Sonam se bhi zyada bewafa Congress which has been doing this. If they were concerned about the issues, let me ask just two specific questions of the Congress spokesperson. First of all, independent state was never a demand of this region. They wanted a union territory. When they were part of Jammu Kashmir, they got less than 2% of the budget. They got nothing in terms of education and health, nothing in terms of infrastructure. But today we have seen the manner in which in the last few years, 4% increase, 4 times increase in the budget, 84% people have been included in the ST quota. Almost 1/3 women have been given reservation. Atal Tunnel, Zojila Tunnel, all-weather roads, Bilaspur, Mandli, railway survey has been done, 87 bridges, water provided, internet connection provided, 5 lakh tourists per year from 1 lakh tourists, 65,000 Mudra loan yojanas, hospital beds have been doubled, 170 bed hospital has been created. All of these things have been done at a time. This has been done by the government in the last 4.5 to 5 years. The Congress party should just tell us what did they do for this region except for exploit it and give a huge chunk of it to China.
Okay, let's just open this up. Let me bring in a couple of others also on this. Dr. Raman, it's a question that I have to ask you here. The government at the center looks very invested in the dialogue and negotiations. So why was this mayhem created? And after all the video evidence, etc., is there any doubt, and especially the note that has appeared that was actually sent to Mr. Wangchuk in 2007 by the Deputy Commissioner of Leh, which says that he has anti-national connections in China. Can we assume that he has done this at the instigation of somebody? I'm just saying, there are also Nepalese citizens who have been arrested, who are rioting. What were the Nepalese citizens doing here? Rioting in Leh for what? It's not their country. Clearly there is some cross-connection here.
Rahul, 2-3 things. Whatever happened yesterday was completely unacceptable, and the guilty will have to be brought to book. I don't think there are any two opinions on that among anybody. Now, having said that, if this man faced such grave charges in 2007, I think a lot of serious questions have to be asked of both the UPA and the NDA governments. What were they doing? Now a lot of people have found out he is hugging Yunus. He made a trip to Pakistan. Is getting foreign funding. All of this is known only post lunch yesterday. It was not known to the intelligence agencies. Nobody knew it. All this was a threat to India, and he was acting on all these things. And nobody knew it till the violence broke out. Rahul, I think this is a serious intelligence failure which the government must answer. If this man is indeed responsible, all this evidence which keeps coming out and all these handles who post every hour, they post a new information about him. And by the way, Rahul, it would interest you to know that this very channel gave him a Real Heroes of India award in 2008. Now, maybe you would want to ask yourself why you gave somebody who's an anti-national a Real Heroes award. So you may not have been there, but this channel is the one which actually gave that award.
I think the people who are running this channel, I don't.
No, whoever
I don't
was
know
running
if,
it,
no, I'll tell you. I don't think you were aware. No, should I tell you who was? Don't force me to. No. Hang on. Dr. Raman, look, hang on. Don't force me to name names. Some of those people are more committed. No. One second. No, I'm not going to fall for this. No. Sumansi Raman.
No, I'll name them.
Yeah.
I'll name them.
Who?
Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, who gave him a platform yesterday, was the one who perhaps must have given him the awards. But Mr. Raman, one second. Sir, one second.
No, are you saying?
Just one second. Of course, there are a lot of people in their entire ecosystem.
No, Dr.
Mr.
Raman,
let me
into it. Now,
Mr. Raman,
you walked into it.
Mr. Raman, you were throwing the challenge. You were throwing the gauntlet. I have picked it up. Mr. Raman,
which journalist? 1 minute. I just want to get in here for 30 seconds and I want to silence this nonsense about journalists. Now, viewers, if you were a journalist that respected your integrity, would you take a state award? Would you take some Padma award? Would you?
Give him the award or not?
Now, I'm asking you, would you as a journalist take, excuse me, 1 second, would you as a journalist, if you really, really valued your integrity and independence, take a state award? You would not. You'd spit on it.
Absolutely.
In fact, viewers, it would be an abnegation of every journalistic bone in your body. It would suggest
Now
that you
come
were
back
so
to Mr.
pliant that
Wangchuk.
people were rewarding you. That's what
Now
governments
that
do.
we have-
Anyhow, I
just
just want to
10
leave it
seconds.
at that,
Just
please.
10 seconds. Unfortunately, I got
Come back
disturbed by the
to
And I
noise
also know the person who's sitting in the Rajya Sabha from the same. No, hang on. From the
minute.
same. I'm not going into all of this,
Rahul,
please.
I just need
1
10
second.
seconds.
I'm not
That's an
going into all of
important
this. But don't listen. I am not here, sir. I don't give awards to anybody. I don't take awards, especially from the state. Please don't drag
Rahul,
this
let
channel
me
into
just-
anything, please.
Rahul, just 10 seconds more. And I could request Sumanji Raman.
What a frivolous issue
One
you're
second.
raising, sir. It's a
Mr.
border
Raman,
state,
please,
for God's
Mr.
sake.
Raman, please, I request, in the middle when I was speaking.
You said 2007 and you said you gave him an award. I'll tell you who gave him the award. This
Anyway,
gentleman
I
has
don't want
pointed
to-
it out.
Mr.
That's done
Rahul,
now. That's done.
Rahul,
Please, come
unfortunately,
back. Okay,
Rahul, there's a
doctor, I'll have
technical
to
issue.
lower your fader.
Rahul,
Please,
just
don't
technical
go on
issue.
and on.
Rahul,
On a
just
non-issue. Yes.
Rahul, just on a technical point, there was disturbance in the studio. So one very important point. The problem is we are losing out on the real focus of the debate. The debate is not whether Sonam
Yes.
was anti-national then or Sonam is anti-national now. Forget that issue. The issue is that today when violence is being used as a methodology for redressing your issues, these issues were being discussed. Nobody denies that.
Okay.
The Congress party as a mainstream party comes out and defends it. You know who defends it? Rahul Gandhi. We have to fight the Indian state. Kerosene is spread, we need a match.
Yeah.
Provokes people to use lathis against the Prime Minister. The problem is the hierarchy of the Congress party
Okay.
is using this methodology.
Okay.
That is the issue.
Problem is, the problem
take
is that
action
the
against
state
them
was engaging with this
instead of
group.
talking
This is
on
not
TV
like the
debate.
farmer protest
Take
where the
action.
state was at a distance or trying to break down the barriers, or like the Shaheen Bagh ladies. This was not the case. This was a well-charted negotiation. Dates were fixed. Dates were even fixed for tomorrow and day after, viewers. But these people took the law into their hands. Now the question is why? I want to open this up. Dr. Ranganathan is there, Sushant Sareen is there, and Ashwini Mishra. I'll open them all out in that order. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, the truth is, Sonam Wangchuk is Arvind Kejriwal on diuretics, soiling not just his reputation as he flees after instigating innocent and gullible Ladakhis. A typical dyed-in-the-wool closet commie with hypocrisy more than cholesterol in his veins. Someone who enjoys the fruits of development but doesn't want development. Whose utopian ideas are derived from Marx and Guevara, destroying things they're incapable of ever building. Rahul, The thin lines that divide communism, anarchy, and revolution are there for a purpose, hopscotch. And leftists have perfected the art of jumping from one square to another. Communism today, anarchism tomorrow, revolution forever. And Ladakh is no different, sadly. Demand for statehood, sixth schedule protections, separate parliamentary seats, job reservations. Some of these claims are unreasonable and disruptive to the strategically vital reason. Should Andaman and Nicobar also demand statehood next? Where will this end? Amazing how they ignore the historic fulfillment of Ladakh's long-standing plea for separation from Jammu and Kashmir achieved under Modi. For 60 years, Congress promised Ladakh UT status. The first demand was made by Congress's own MP from Ladakh, Kushok Rinpoche. But Ladakh languished as a neglected district with no push for autonomy or development. Congress government, despite controlling J&K, never elevated Ladakh to UT status or addressed tribal safeguards, prioritizing vote banks over progress. Congress denied UT status to Ladakh for half a century. And when Modi grants it, everyone turns against Modi. Identical to what happened when Modi fulfilled Congress promises of farm laws and CAA. Issue is, have anarchists like Sonam thought this out properly? Number one, statehood could burden a sparsely populated, ecologically fragile area with unnecessary bureaucracy, compromising national security amid China tensions. Number two, sixth schedule status meant for tribal autonomy in northeast states doesn't fit Ladakh's unique UT framework, where land and cultural protections already exist. Via the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Councils, statehood would fragment administration in a place reliant on central funding, while extra Lok Sabha seats defy population-based norms. Ladakh is under 300,000 voters. Rahul, these aren't organic grievances, but amplified by opportunists escalate into violence that has killed 4. And this is the heart of what Sonam is all about, whose irrational antics and incitements have fueled fire. First, just 30 seconds. His provocative speeches referencing Arab Spring uprisings and Nepal's Gen Z protests potentially incited mob violence in Leh, leading to arson and police firing. Number two, Wangchuk's recent attendance at a Pakistan-backed event in Islamabad reeks of irrational judgment, compromising national security for dubious eco-activism. Number three, he faces CBI probes for foreign funding violations first flagged by Congress back in 2007, including land encroachment. Number four, there is an undated video circulating where Sonam is urging protesters to wear masks and hoodies. He needs to clarify. Number five, finally, his leftist leanings shine through anti-development stances, Rahul, opposing infrastructure projects under the guise of environmentalism, aligning with radical agendas and stall progress in Ladakh, echoing global leftist obstructionism. Wangchuk and his ilk aren't champions of Ladakh, but spoilers of its hard-won stability. And how hard-won it was, we all know. The violence betrays region's Buddhist ethos of peace, serving foreign agendas over India interests. Ladakh deserves better than this manufactured outrage.
Well, let me tell you one thing though, Sushant Sareen, and please weigh in on this. Look, if so much is known about this man's anti-national ways, how is he still free? I mean, he's still free as we speak. He hasn't been arrested, and I've been tweeting repeatedly. The government has put out, the Home Ministry has put out a document which says in the 8th clause that there is absolutely no doubt that he is linked to all of this. But I can't understand why this man is still free. He's responsible for the death of 4 people. It should not be the job of journalists to be exposing all of this and countering that person. On air, it should be. He shouldn't have been giving that interview. He should be in some jail.
So, Rahul, see, there are 2 or 3 issues involved out here. One is the fact that you might have intelligence does not necessarily mean that you have actionable evidence on the basis of which you can prosecute a guy. But if you have the intelligence that somebody like a Sonam Wangchuk is involved with rather dubious or has very dubious connections, he's getting money from dubious sources, then I think it is the responsibility of the government of the day to have actually gotten all the necessary evidence to prosecute this guy and throw this fellow behind bars. Number one. Having not done that in time, even now, if you can collect the evidence and you can implicate him, it's not enough to issue a public statement or a press release. You have to have the evidence to implicate him in the violence which happened yesterday, and for all I care, throw him behind bars. And I'm the last one to shed any tear for him. Secondly, Rahul, and I think this is very critical, when people like Wangchuk and including the leader of opposition, they try and romanticize revolution, they try and make it sound all very sexy and very, very attractive and seductive, that, the Gen Z will rise up, etc., etc. They should understand what they are asking for. The examples which they give: Arab Spring. Syria suffered Arab Spring. How many people died? Over 1 million people died. How much property, how much devastation was there? And what has replaced Arab Spring? Al Qaeda. You have in Bangladesh, you have the Islamists coming into power under that stupid fellow, the so-called Nobel Peace Laureate, who doesn't either know his history or his geography, or for that matter his politics. You have that clown out there. And what are you seeing in Bangladesh today? A completely collapsed economy, right? You have lawlessness on the streets and you have a collapsed economy. You have seen Nepal. Now, why are you giving or inciting the youth of this country to follow those examples? And you think that if these guys were to do all of that, you think you will come out on top and you will escape what the anarchy which comes on the streets? That it's only the BJP offices which will be burnt. It will not be other parties' offices that will be burnt. They will not be targeted. So that is the second. And the third thing is, look, I think governments need to wake up, especially in this part of the world, because look, whether we like it or not, India is in the crosshairs right now.
Yeah.
Governments need to wake up to the fact that when public demonstrations are going to take place, they have to cater for the worst possible outcome of those agitation. Because what is the modus operandi? The modus operandi is you call for an agitation, you make sure it gets violent, you make sure that there is provocation enough that there is some kind of police firing or some kind of action from the state, which then becomes fuel on fire.
Yeah.
And it leads to a bigger conflagration.
Yes.
And then the whole thing gets a logic of its own. Now, when you know that this kind of a thing can happen, why don't you nip it in the bud? So my problem with what Shehzad is saying is that if you had all this information, or if you had that 2007 report, you should have built upon it, because Sonam Wangchuk gave you all the indication of which direction he was heading. How come you were dealing with him with kid gloves? This has become the modus operandi of this government. Until and unless there's fire, they will not douse it. They will not ensure that the fire is not lit. You have to start dousing the fire before it is lit.
But I'm glad that, I asked this question so that all this is out of the way. Because we now need to focus on the real two questions, viewers. And that is accountability. Look, 4 people are dead. Almost 100 are injured. Some are, of course, now have been discharged from the hospital, but there are still about a dozen that are very, very ill after having been very badly attacked and mauled. So, Mr. Mishra, I want to ask you, sir. Smanla Dorje Norbu is a Congress councillor, and he says you may deploy thousands or even lakhs of CRPF or register any FIRs under any section of the law against me, but I will go to the BJP office. I will lead the stone pelting. I will enter their office and throw stones at them. And that is exactly what he's doing in those visuals. And he's identified at the scene. So I'm asking you, if Rahul Gandhi believes in the Constitution, if he believes in law and order, why hasn't he opened his mouth? Why isn't the Congress party, Jairam Ramesh and company, the biggest, the Gabfest leaders there? Where are they? Or is it hua to hua? Is that what you're telling us? Hua to hua?
Rahul.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah. You started with democracy, so let me start with democracy itself. The definition of democracy.
Listen, don't give me a civics lesson.
No,
I'm asking you. There is a man who is clearly inside. Listen, Mr. Mishra, I'm not interested in your civics lessons. I'm interested in what you need to answer. The question is, there is a man in the middle of your screens. He is from your party. He is sitting in your office. You can see the same symbols behind him. And he is threatening mayhem a day before mayhem happens. He then goes physically to that office, ransacks it, challenges the CRPF, and you're telling me, sir, the definition of democracy? You should be, sir, bowing your head tonight in shame. This is Bharat Todo.
Next time I'll put my poster here, because you just bring me here to shout at in the name of Congress, because you don't want to listen our side of things, right? And if that is the case, well, there is no debate here. You are talking about 4 versus 2 here, giving me chance in the end and not letting me speak.
4 versus
In
2
the
meaning?
Fundamentals of democracy says that the fourth pillar of democracy will be the voices of the dissent. Media is not the voices of the dissent anymore. And if you don't be the voices of the dissent, the people will come on the street and they will fight for their right.
There you go, viewers.
Let me finish.
There you go.
This is exactly what happened in Nepal.
Yes. So one second. I'm going to show you some visuals, viewers.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens today.
Allow me to speak.
No,
This
one
is not
second.
fair.
Viewers, these
You
are the
gave me
pictures.
chance
I
after
want you to
so
see
much
these
time.
pictures. You
have
see
to
this
allow me
mass
to
of
speak.
humanity?
This is
Yeah.
not fair.
One
Now-
second. I'm coming back to you. You made a reference about people hitting the streets. Viewers, these are pictures. This is a mass of humanity. There you can see them. Who are these people, viewers? Who are these
Karnataka,
people?
Dharwad.
This is, viewers, pictures from Dharwad. In Karnataka, civil service aspirants under the banner of the All Karnataka Students Association demanding immediate recruitment for thousands of pending government posts, including police constables. They're out on the street against the Congress state government there. Because they believe they have a license to do this. Because you have a
Congress
guy.
party believe that everyone has a right to protest. Everyone
One
has
second.
a right to
One
protest.
second, let me please come in.
But
Let me
this
please
BJP
come in on this.
No,
Let me
you
please come in on
let
this.
Me, let me complete
Now-
my
Let him
statement.
finish, let him finish.
Otherwise, I'm not sitting
Let
on
him
this
finish.
debate.
Let him
Don't
finish.
allow
Let
me
him
to
finish.
my
Yes,
point.
make your point.
When 72 people died in Gurjar Andolan in Rajasthan, it was not the Congress which was instigating, it was the people. When 18 people died in Jat Andolan, it was not the Congress, it was the people who were protesting. If you make sure that people's way surviving itself is a development, then people will come on the street
Okay,
and fight for
that's
their
the point
rights.
you're making.
Don't hide your.
Okay, that's your
don't
point.
hide
Now,
your
1 minute. Viewers,
incompetency
I'll take you back to
behind
the
Congress,
Kundakulam.
behind
1
the
second. Now you made your point. You've said it 4 times. I'll take you back to Kundakulam. These guys are giving us democracy lessons, viewers. Ask Chidambaram what he did.
12,000 people.
Chidambaram put sedition cases against 12,000 Indians. For doing what? For protesting. He called a whole bunch of people urban Naxals. And he locked them up, viewers. He shut down FCRA licenses. He put sedition cases against a famous author. No, these are the people.
MP.
आप democracy समझा रहे हैं and you are justifying violence.
You are running away from the accountability.
Mr. Mishra, have some shame. You are an Indian. Think of your country.
Rahul,
Now
not
let me
Rahul
just have
Gandhi,
20
people
seconds.
like
Just
Rahul
20,
Shivshankar
25
who are
seconds.
responsible.
Rahul, we can do this one by one. 20, 25 seconds. Rahul, what is Nepali people doing in the protests of democracy in India? Why were Nepalis arrested? Secondly, is he saying that in Dharwad people should go and burn the Congress office and God forbid this should happen? Nobody should do it.
You are saying
One
this.
second,
I
sir. Now,
never said
Rahul,
that.
please let me complete.
Hey, listen, Mr.
Rahul,
Mishra,
please let me complete.
don't be
Rahul,
too
please
clever
let
by
me
half. That is
complete.
exactly what you were
Rahul,
saying.
please
That in the
let
name of
me
dissent,
complete.
people will rise
Rahul,
up.
please let me complete.
Yes.
Please let me complete. I request the channel to let me complete. I did not interrupt him. Is it democracy when you put 12,000 people sedition cases in one go? Is it democracy when you locked up the entire opposition and put them in jail? You put 250 journalists in jail. With what face are you talking about democracy? But having said that, I just want to ask 2 questions. Sir, please, without your taunts also, we can do this debate. And it would be more mature of you, Mr. Ashwini. I'm not interrupting you. You can, Mr. Ashwini, since you are so considerate about the entire region, can you tell me the full form of the group LBA and whose president was? He was having a dialogue with the government of India. He himself announced that on 6th of October and on 25th, 26th, we are having the talks. That was democracy. What you have done is to save your FCRA and to save your dirty deals. You have provoked violence. Now I ask you, what is the full form of LBA and who's the president of LBA? Let's see your knowledge. Tell me what is the full form of LBA, Mr. Democracy, and decide. This man does not know anything about Ladakh or the region. The body which was discussing has been sabotaged.
You know, these democracy lovers, just lower his fader, these democracy lovers, viewers, one second. These democracy lovers, viewers, they talked up the prospects of those Sikh farmers and other farmers who were positioned for a year and a half at the borders. The moment they went to Punjab, the Punjab government there gave them the hiding of their lives and dispersed them. And you know which government that was, viewers? The alliance partner of the Congress, the AAP government. They kicked them out, bashed and beat them up, and said, don't you protest in our state. Get out of here. This is democracy Congress style. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, before I move on.
No, you're quite right, and so is Shahzad. And this happened during the CA as well. At that point of time, Mahavikas Aghadi was running Maharashtra, and there was an element of CA protest on the Marine Drive, and they were lathi charged that night itself. So that's the question. Look, yeah, just 1 second, Rahul. Yeah, Dr. Raman, just please give me 30 seconds. Yeah. Look, what Shahzad is saying is right, but I want to extend the excellent argument made by Shushanji. You have this Congress, shameless Congress councillor or leader, whoever it is, a day before the looting and arson and stole pelting, he openly, brazenly holds a press conference and says, I'm going to do it. The question is not to be asked of the Congress who have no expectations. The question is to be asked to the BJP, why was he not arrested? Why was he allowed to do what he said he will do?
Let him answer.
Let me answer.
1 second, let him answer.
I want to actually address this question.
Yeah.
See, Anand, I have great regard for you, and Anand, you are actually somebody who says I'm a free speech absolutist. So you would not even arrest people for any kind of speech. That's your technical position. Having said that, government or any security agency is in a catch-22 situation. You are having conversation which is going on with the main body in a very fruitful way. There is somebody who's trying to provoke the peace by creating all this kind of nuisance, giving these kinds of calls. You keep an eye on them, you keep a check on them, but then do you make them a martyr? Or do you take the action once you have the evidence that is required? Okay. These are calls that have to be taken on the ground, and I'm sure you will appreciate this.
And let me tell you,
so therefore one has to have a balanced approach.
And let you also tell you that Sonam, yes, Doctor. Dr. Raman, yes.
1 second. Is Mr. Wangchuk anti-national or not? Is the question.
Can I answer that question?
From which date did he become anti-national?
Mr. Raman, for you, nobody is anti-national, even if they're parcel of pieces of this country, they are not anti-national. For you, Afzal Guru is also not anti-national. Sir, for you, Afzal Guru is also not anti-national, sir.
If he was meeting Yunus and if he was conspiring with anti-India forces.
See, the problem with people like Raman. I'll answer. Sir, I'll answer.
The goalpost has been changed.
Sir, I'll answer. Why are you so scared of hearing my answer?
Let him respond.
The problem with people like you, sir, that you are a doctor.
You can only criticize me. You can't answer the question.
Let him answer. Give him an opportunity. You can judge him.
He's talking about people.
Sir, let him at least try. Okay? Yes.
Let him answer the question.
He is. Let him get into it.
The only problem with people like Mr. Raman is that they are a doctor.
Again.
Can I please complete?
Let him finish. Give him 30 seconds. Give him 30 seconds. Yes. Yes.
It seems as if you were getting some of the part of the funding from that organization that you are so personally affected by it. If you haven't been personally affected, please listen to the answer for 30 seconds. You are more of a spin doctor than of a regular doctor. The only question that I'm asking, Mr. Suman C. Raman, I was going to call you Sonam C. Raman. Mr. Sonam C. Raman, can you please tell me that for you, even people like Afzal Guru is not an anti-national? Okay. The point is that somebody who asks for a plebiscite in Kashmir, is he an anti-national or no? For you, is somebody asking for a plebiscite in Kashmir anti-national, yes or no?
No answer.
Okay.
There is no answer.
Viewers,
sir, you will never be convinced.
We can go down this rabbit hole. Viewers, we can go down this rabbit hole. It is a distraction. We can go down this rabbit hole without interrogating what Mr. Mishra has said, which is that you can hit the streets, people, and you can do what you want because this is a democracy. These are the standards. Yes, Sushant Sareen, before I move on.
Yeah, very quickly. One, on freedom of speech. Anand can afford to be an absolutist, but if he was in government, even he wouldn't be. Not if you're inciting violence and you are preaching violence, number one. Number two, yes, there is a right to protest and a right to dissent, and it's an inalienable right in a democracy, and we don't need Mr. Mishra to educate us on that. But there is no right to burn and pillage and become a mob on the street. And third, where Shehzad is wrong is that, look, when the CAA protests were happening, you allowed Shaheen Bagh to fester. What did that result in? It resulted in the Delhi riots. Did you have to get 50 people killed before you cracked down on those people?
Let me answer this.
Okay, very quickly.
Let me answer this.
I need to
Sushant, only because it is somebody as dignified as you who's asking, I'm wanting to answer this so that there's clarity. Sir, unfortunately or fortunately, when we made laws, the laws said very clearly that insightful words should be punished. But the courts have interpreted in this country that unless it's followed up by violence, there can be no action. Now, whether you find it fortunate or unfortunate, this is the position in the law. And we cannot go beyond the law while taking action.
Okay,
just
viewers, the fact
on the basis
is,
of the law that
yes,
is today.
you could argue that this could all have been preempted by a more vigilant state, but had the state preempted without cause, they would have been accused of dissent and of quashing dissent. And people like Sonam Wangchuk would have played, viewers, I'll tell you what, victims, and would have become martyrs for the cause. He's itching. He, in fact, in his interview, the one thing he kept saying was that, you know, if you act this, that, the other, you can act. Of course you can act. But then, you see, you might end up with a backlash. He kept invoking that, viewers. He was holding out a threat in that interview that I did with him this morning. I haven't repeated it because of its propaganda value. So I'll let it go. But I want to move on because, viewers, mobilization is becoming a pattern. Hundreds of Muslims have been taking to the streets in towns and cities carrying I Love Muhammad banners. The marches have sparked debate, and in many places authorities have stepped in, stopping parades, detaining organizers, even filing charges of inciting communal passions. Leaders like Omar Abdullah and Asaduddin Owaisi have defended the participants, citing the constitution which guarantees the freedom to practice and propagate religion. Both of them have said, in almost the same words, this is a part of faith. Article 25 of the Constitution provides for the right to religious freedom, which is a fundamental right of every citizen, unquote. And they're right. Peaceful expressions of faith can't be criminalized by themselves. These marches give people reassurance, visibility, and a sense of unity. But some critics see it differently, viewers. They say these parades are less about devotion and more about asserting supremacy. And maybe, just maybe, they have a point. Let me explain. The marches are happening during the Navratras and Dasara, a period considered specially auspicious in the Hindu calendar. Could this be a case of competitive religiosity? Then there's the question of duplicity. So timing is one thing, viewers. Now it's about duplicity, and let me elaborate on that. Those defending these marches today were the same people who objected to Jai Shri Ram rallies, arguing back then that a devotional chant had been turned into an exclusionary political slogan. If that critique was valid then, can one ignore the parallels now? Fundamental questions. And I want to first begin with Dr. Anand Ranganathan and Abid Wani, leader of the National Conference. Dr. Ranganathan, many people are saying this I Love Muhammad marches are pious, and this is devotion at its utmost. How do you see this, sir?
Well, firstly, I am thankful that it is, the people are collecting for I Love Muhammad marches and not Gustakh-e-Rasool ki ek hi saza sartan se juda, because they do that in their thousands as well. Just recently, now, in fact, I saw your coverage of that, Rahul, as well. There is nothing wrong in this, it has to be said, provided if you are not blocking the road or if you are marching on a road, you've taken prior permission. I mean, it's a religious beckoning, it's a call. And if it's not disrupting any other activity, it's not inconveniencing people, I see nothing wrong in it. Of course, I can understand some of the reasons why this is being done, but then to say that this is being provocative, you would have to extrapolate it to the concept and philosophy itself. I mean, when you have the entire philosophy, the scriptures being provocative, what is one march but not provocative? So personally, I have no issues with it as long as it has been done after taking permission.
Well, in some cases, permission was not taken. But you see, there is a fundamental disconnect here, viewers. And let me bring in Abid Wani, leader of the National Conference. Mr. Wani, look, no one, as I've already said in my introduction, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. Please go ahead. Free country, you have a right to go out there and propagate your faith, no problems. But then use the same yardsticks to judge other people and their devotion. When there are Hindus who take out rallies in the name of Jai Shri Ram, all of you say that this is a weaponized slogan, it's a war cry. This is a display of Hindu muscle flexing. This is Hindutva. This is about sending a message to the other community that we are around. So why these double standards? Can you explain to me, Mr. Wani?
Well, Rahul, in the inception of the debate, I will begin with sending blessings and peace upon Prophet, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm happy that Anand said that I have no problem with the march. Definitely, nobody has problem with the march because it starts with the phrase "I love Muhammad," and I think that's the problem. The problem arises when in Kanpur 25 FIRs were registered under IPC 295A. That means you're criminalizing love, an expression of devotion, an expression of faith. And that's where the problem arises. And the reaction is not a mobilization. It's a spontaneous reaction to those who have criminalized this love expression. That's what I have to say in the premises of the debate. Rest,
no, but Mr. Wani, one second.
Yes.
Would you not give benefit to the state when they say take permission? You are going through common areas. You're going through common area. This is what I'm saying, viewers. When the Hindu community takes out a march and goes past a mosque, there have been instances when the march, maybe during Durga Puja or Ganesh Puja or any other Hindu festival, stones are thrown because people say don't transgress this area because this is dominated by one community, etc., etc. You're hurting sentiments, your chants. Jai Shri Ram are provocative and stone pelting happens. And we have seen those pictures, Ram Navami violence, you can see those pictures, this is Satsaram, April 2023, without provocation, sir. Then you say that permission must be taken. Here, if permission is not taken and the state acts against you, you say that, listen, this is a crackdown on our freedom of religion. That can't be, right?
Well, Rahul, every citizen in India is protected by Article 19, Article 14, Article 25, and many other articles. We can have a debate on national television. But as you rightly pointed out, seeking permission. Can you explain me the fact that when Hindu mobs, literally were passing through mosques, and we have seen the social media videos erupting, carrying swords and chanting Jai Shri Ram, that becomes an expression of hate. That's where the problem starts. If the Muslims have done anything like that, I would definitely say that's a criminal action and
yes,
it should be
Dr.
taken.
Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. Yes.
This is the problem where the agenda comes very clear. All what this leader would have said is that it is wrong for people to march, inconveniencing others on the roads if they haven't taken permission plain. Now he talks about some cases where the Hindus have marched opposite mosques. I can give him the same number of cases where Muharram processions stop deliberately outside a temple. I can show you. And you know what they're chanting? Deen ke gaddar bulaun Ali ko, with swords brandished. So let's not talk about this. Don't indulge in whataboutery. What is wrong is wrong. Have the courage to do it. Don't interrupt me. I haven't finished yet. No, 1 second. Please don't interrupt me. Have the courtesy here. Right. So when you talk of one instance where a Hindu religious procession stops out some mosque, do not be indulging in whataboutery. Do not be selective. Please also talk about Muslim processions that deliberately stop outside a temple. Have the guts to condemn that as well. And that is the problem with you leaders. You are selective.
Anand, I condemn both, but show me one instance.
Oh, what's the problem?
No, please. Now let's not cover.
Where a Jai Shri Ram slogan with swords in the hand has been criminalized. Here you are criminalizing under Article
1 second.
An expression of.
One second. Just 1 second. I'll tell you there is a difference. There's a difference because some of these. No, Mr.
You are showing a selective outrage right now.
Okay, one second.
Muslims as aggressors.
Okay, no one is painting anyone as aggressors. We are only drawing parallels because there are many parallels. Now, Mr. Wani, let me also say one thing, that some of these processions that you refer to have been cleared by the DMs. There you go. There is footage of that.
Anand, we have many videos, so please don't do this mockery here on the national television. We have many videos erupting, showing swords in the hand. When
so that's what I'm saying. So it cuts both ways. The sword cuts both ways, and all I'm saying tonight, viewers, I am not against anybody. Go do what you want to, take the permissions, but don't stand in judgment of another community when they choose to exercise their equal freedom of religion. Then don't accuse them of being exclusivist, supremacist, Hindutvavadi fundamentalists, and so on and so forth. Then don't cry victim.
Unless they have arms in hand.
Oh, no, hang on, just a minute. there are enough denominations.
Guns and arms.
Yes, guns and arms.
well,
There are
then we
enough
should not
denominations.
penalize the
No, hang on. There are enough
Well, Rahul,
denominations.
Rahul,
Rahul,
can I
one
come
minute,
in?
one minute,
Rahul,
one
can I
minute.
come in?
1 second, sir. I'm just going to move on because what has to be said has been said tonight. I think the viewers also understood that both religions or all the religions should be on the same level playing field and they should be judged equally. You can't label one lot of people who come out and do Jai Shri Ram processions as being provocateurs and the other lot as being pious. That's all that is being said here, viewers. That's it. And I hope that if everyone can agree that everyone has an equal right to propagate their religion, their symbols also. A lot of Hindu denominations, Sikh denominations, many faiths have a symbol like the Trishul, the trident, this, that, the other, the sword, the kirpan.
Or the Sarnath symbol.
Or the, yes, exactly. So, or the Sarnath symbol. Yes, okay, I'll leave it at this, viewers. I'll leave it at this. I just need to move on because there's a very important debate that we're going to have. Mr. Mishra is here with us from the Congress and Dr. Ranganathan is also here with us. This is very important. Viewers, Sonia Gandhi has penned an article for the Hindu newspaper today. She has questioned Prime Minister Modi's policy towards Palestine. In the article, Gandhi claims she is appalled, her words, at the blossoming ties between India and Israel, in particular in the critical trade sector. She says, and I quote, the Modi government's actions appear to be driven primarily by the personal friendship between Israeli Premier and Mr. Modi. It is appalling that 2 weeks ago, India not only signed a bilateral investment agreement with Israel in New Delhi, but also hosted its highly controversial far-right finance minister who has invited global condemnation for his repeated incitements of violence against Palestinian communities in the occupied West Bank, unquote. So viewers, she's appalled by the state of India-Israel ties and the closeness. Not ties to Israel. The hypocrisy is appalling. Did Sonia flinch when she stood alongside Xi Jinping to sign a Congress CCP MOU even as China was carrying out a genocide of Uyghur Muslims? No, viewers, she didn't. Standards apply to others, not to the Congress party. Let's open this up. Mr. Mishra, I have to ask you a couple of questions and these are important ones. Fine, Sonia Gandhi is standing in judgment of the Prime Minister saying that how can you be shaking hands with a genocidal maniac like Bibi Netanyahu and so on and so forth. But let me ask you this. Did Sonia object when her son and Congress son Rahul Gandhi consorted with US lawmaker Ilhan Umar? There was a picture in the middle of your screens who has been accused of anti-Semitism. No, viewers, she didn't say anything. Where was her sense of outrage when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was leveraging Kashmiri Hindu genocide enabler Yasin Malik to pass messages to Islamist supremacist terrorist LET chief Hafiz Saeed? Mr. Mishra, tell me, उस time आपको कोई दर्द नहीं हो रहा था? When you were employing a genocidal maniac who's in jail today, thankfully, and saying that you go and speak to another genocidal maniac, Lashkar-e-Toiba chief, and broker deals between us, तब आपको कोई problem नहीं थी entertaining genocidal maniacs. अभी दिखते हैं आपको सिर्फ.
Rahul, you may have an individual political opinion bias towards one political party. I really don't have any problem with that. You comes up with your opinion, put it like a fact, and then expect me to say just yes to you and then move on. I am not that kind of person. Let me play one small video of what Vajpayee ji thinks of Palestine as an issue, so that your viewers will understand.
अरे ये कहाँ?
I can't hear what you're saying.
Your viewers will hear because it's coming from my mic.
Great.
So in this, Vajpayee is saying that Palestine is occupied by Israelis. They are doing their genocides and they have to leave that land.
Okay.
That was the stand of
Can I ask you a question? Since you're giving some facts,
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Since you're giving some facts, has the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Palestine?
How is that relevant? He has visited China. Is China?
I'm asking you, has he visited? Has he visited Palestine? Has he visited? Yes or no?
How is that relevant?
आपको पता भी है, मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ.
How is that relevant?
I'll tell you, viewers.
How is that important?
Because Sonia Gandhi says, hang on, Sonia Gandhi is trying to inject a binary here, all or nothing. Viewers, the Prime Minister recognizes the state of Palestine. He has called for a two-state solution.
Yeah.
He has also visited Palestine. In fact, he became the first prime minister to visit Israel. And a year later, I think in 2018, he visits Palestine. 2017, he goes and sees Bibi Netanyahu. 2018, he goes to Palestine. He has kept it all very kosher, viewers, but not for the Congress. The Congress wants you to cut your ties. How dare she says you have ties, trade ties with Israel. I'm appalled by trade ties with Israel. Now tell me, viewers, what has Palestine done for us? Dr. Ranganathan, how many times has it voted against us? Should we actually dump Israel for Palestine? Can you explain if this is in the national interest or not? Because clearly the Congress doesn't think about the national interest.
You know, I have never used the phrase anti-national against anyone. Except once, I think, against Mr. Sharad Pawar, because he allowed Australia to play on a green pitch and we lost that series. But the fact of the matter is, when you have in 1971, when almost all of our Arab friends ditched us, sided with Pakistan, and we had only Golda Meir and Israel send us important, vital weapons so that we could actually crush Pakistan. That was when Israel helped us. During Kargil war, despite the sanctions being on India, despite American pressure, Israel ignored American pressure, sent us vital missiles that actually turned the tide of Kargil war. And here is someone who is saying we should have no relations with it. I'm not going to call her anti-national, but I want the people to realize a friend, not a fair weather friend, a friend who helps us in our dire needs, who helps us win wars. If a politician is calling that friend as a traitor and not to have anything to do with it, if that person is condemning Israel, but has never condemned Hamas, openly relaying its
We are condemning the genocides, not the country.
Okay.
We are not condemning the country.
Viewers, let me tell you one thing. If you are condemning the genocide, I'm asking you, why were you signing an MOU with Xi Jinping? Why were you signing an MOU with Xi Jinping, who has conducted a genocide of Muslims, the same Muslims that you have such sympathies for in Gaza? He has killed those same Muslims in Uyghur province, Xinjiang province, the Uyghur Muslims. नहीं, आप मुझे ये तो जवाब दे दो. उस टाइम आपको मुसलमान नहीं दिखे.
You just ask question and don't give the answers. I am also asking, if tomorrow we have some sort of conflict with, say, USA, whom do you think Israel will stand with? The USA or the India? What is your opinion on this?
I'll tell you the opinion.
I'll tell you the
opinion. Okay. Do you know 1999 Kargil?
Yes.
Yes. Who had a problem with India taking its heights back? America. And who stood and gave missiles and other armaments to us? It was Israel. So viewers, look, I'm just asking you a question. This is not about larger issues. This is about likes for likes, apples for apples. She has a problem with Israel because she says it's genocidal. And she means Sonia Gandhi. She's written it, I haven't written it. Now viewers, so I ask her, I'm going to hold the Congress party to the same standards. Where was her sense of outrage when Congress ally, the left parties, were giving a platform to slain Hamas senior leader Khalid Mashal, who is on record vying to kill all Jews? Khalid Mashal. And you know, viewers, one man spoke up against it and said it is in very poor taste. And he happened to be a Congress MP. His name is Shashi Tharoor, and he had to apologize the next day.
Correct.
These are not my facts. These are established facts.
Rahul.
Viewers, I want to ask you another question. It's a very simple one. Ilhan Umar has gone out there and been kicked out of committees in America for being anti-Semitic. She's genocidal. She has complete support for Pakistan on Kashmir. What does Pakistan do in POK? It is murdering innocent Kashmiris. She goes to POK. She legitimizes the control of Pakistan. And Rahul Gandhi meets her with Sam Pitroda. That's okay. That foreign policy is fine. Then you don't see genocide or the fingerprint of genocide. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, you're making a point.
No, the point is very simple. If you think of what she has written today or her, buckets of tears at Batla encounter, the question I want to ask is, in all honesty, and I'm not, this is not lighthearted, how many votes will you get out of the vote bank, Muslim vote bank? वो आपको दे रहे हैं votes, भाई.
It's not about the politics. It is about the very ethos of the country.
How many times do you expect them to vote? Maybe
It
that is
the
the real vote
ethos
story.
of the India that we should not be interfering in a matter. We should be standing with both the sides and we
Who is
should not be
interfering?
standing with the one who is genociding the
interfering?
others.
आपकी
Isn't it a
definition में
very
genocide हो रहा
our
है.
country?
आपकी definition में genocide हो रहा है. You see, viewers, look, I'll be very clear about one thing to you tonight. I believe that Israel now should end the war. It's gone along too long. There has to be a solution. But that doesn't mean it has to be at the cost of severing ties, trade ties, all sorts of ties with Israel. As if doing that, viewers, is going to make the Hamas some reformed organization. It'll turn them into, the missionaries of charity. Aisa nahi hoga. I'll leave it at this, viewers. I'll leave it at this. This is very harebrained diplomacy. It is basically rooted in appeasement politics. It should be rejected. Don't fall for it, viewers. There are a lot of people who see those pictures and their hearts melt, this, that, the other. But be practical, be pragmatic. I'll leave it at this.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
News on the broadcast, we're learning that the BCCI has now gone on to file a complaint against Haris Rauf and Sahibzada Farhan to the ICC. The Pakistan Cricket Board has also lodged a protest against Surya Kumar Yadav. India has filed an official complaint with the ICC against Pakistan cricketers Rauf and Farhan for their provocative gestures, remember, during the two sides Asia Cup Super 4 game last Sunday. The BCCI filed this complaint against the duo this Wednesday, and ICC is in receipt of that email. In fact, an ICC hearing is now expected to take place in the case of Sahibzada Farhan and Rauf, and they have gone on to, in fact, on their part, deny the allegations that have been put forth against them by India in writing. They might, we are told, have to appear before the ICC elite panel referee, that's Richie Richardson, for a hearing. My colleague Vineet Ramakrishnan is joining us on the broadcast. Vineet, this was something that had sent the internet into a tizzy. That entire gesture, the provocative gesture, particularly amid this ongoing debate of whether India should play Pakistan after Operation Sindoor and what had happened in Pahalgam. And that gesture really added a lot of fuel to the fire. So, the fact that now there is a complaint with the ICC, there's also a response by the two Pakistani players in writing denying all these allegations. Which way is this headed? And when are they supposed to be appearing before the elite committee?
Well, ever since those gestures were made by the Pakistan players, be it Haris Rauf or Sahibzada Farhan, this was coming. It was brewing that a complaint would be filed because these were provocative gestures. The ICC Code of Conduct would come into play. About the hearing, it would be soon enough. We are hearing that
Viewers, India has conducted a first of its kind flight of the Agni Prime from a rail-based mobile launcher under a full operational scenario. The Defence Research and Development Organization and the Strategic Forces Command executed the mission. The trajectory was tracked by range sensors and the launch met all objectives. India's Ministry of Defence emphasized that the rail launcher can move on the rail network without preconditions, supports short reaction launches with reduced visibility and is fully self-sustained with independent communications and protection systems.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
News on the broadcast, we're learning that the BCCI has now gone on to file a complaint against Haris Rauf and Sahibzada Farhan to the ICC. The Pakistan Cricket Board has also lodged a protest against Surya Kumar Yadav. India has filed an official complaint with the ICC against Pakistan cricketers Rauf and Farhan for their provocative gestures, remember, during the two sides Asia Cup Super 4 game last Sunday. The BCCI filed this complaint against the duo this Wednesday, and ICC is in receipt of that email. In fact, an ICC hearing is now expected to take place in the case of Sahibzada Farhan and Rauf, and they have gone on to, in fact, on their part, deny the allegations that have been put forth against them by India in writing. They might, we are told, have to appear before the ICC elite panel referee, that's Richie Richardson, for a hearing. My colleague Vineet Ramakrishnan is joining us on the broadcast. Vineet, this was something that had sent the internet into a tizzy. That entire gesture, the provocative gesture, particularly amid this ongoing debate of whether India should play Pakistan after Operation Sindoor and what had happened in Pahalgam. And that gesture really added a lot of fuel to the fire. So the fact that now there is a complaint with the ICC, there's also a response by the two Pakistani players in writing denying all these allegations. Which way is this headed? And when are they supposed to be appearing before the elite committee?
Well, ever since those gestures were made by the Pakistan players, be it Haris Rauf or Sahibzada Farhan, this was coming. It was brewing that a complaint would be filed because these were provocative gestures. The ICC Code of Conduct would come into play. About the hearing, it would be soon enough. We are hearing that the BCCI had filed this complaint. So hearing could be before the final itself. Would they, both Haris Rauf and Sahibzada Farhan, if they go ahead and say they had not done anything wrong, it was not provocative, then the hearing would happen. If they, accept the charges, then there would be some demerit points, there would be some sanctions onto them. Hearing may not happen. But what we are hearing is that both these players and the PCB would be denying those charges, that it was not provocative, it was not outside of the ICC Code of Conduct. So the hearing most likely would happen before the final itself. This week itself is what we are hearing. But on the flip side, what we are also hearing is that PCB have did a counter here as well, and they have gone ahead and put a complaint to the ICC against Surya Kumar Yadav, stating that...
Yes, what is that all about? Yeah, please go ahead, Vineet. What is that complaint by the Pakistan Cricket Board against Yadav all about?
Well, it doesn't hold any water because the complaint is based on the fact that Surya Kumar Yadav, after the post-match during the post-match presentation in the first game, dedicated the win to the Pahalgam attack victims, and then again in the post-match presentation also he reiterated that the win is dedicated to the Indian Army. So we are hearing is that PCB has countered this and put a complaint to the ICC saying that this was a political statement and it breaches the ICC Code of Conduct. But then again, the complaint itself may not hold water because it's been more than 7 days, and if you have to put in a complaint, it should be within that window of 7 days. So we are not really sure that even the PCB's complaint would hold water in this regard. But then again, it's very clear-cut kind of a retaliation. If India had went ahead and complained about Pakistan had to do something, PCB had to do something. So
yes.
Hello and welcome to Vantage. I'm Alison Lagrange. Let's get started.